This is First 7 Days, a series in which I give my first impressions on the first week of an update. Anything added or removed past June 3rd will not be mentioned. I feel like a student who submitted their assignment a month after its due date. I've been busy working on my second channel, Yeetropolis, for most of June, so I haven't had the time nor interest to play Fall Guys. On a side note, it's pretty funny seeing people find the channel for the first time while scrolling on YouTube Shorts. The channel also reached over 400 subscribers, so I genuinely appreciate the people who've been enjoying the shorts and subscribing. Just thank you. Yeetropolis accidentally released the update 4 days early on May 23rd, but oddly enough, only the Xbox Series S/X ports got it. I low-key forgot the game was even on Xbox. Either way, this was reverted 30 minutes later, and you know what? I think they should do something like this again, but for all the ports. Don't do it for the next update, of course. Give it a few months, then just accidentally release the update for maybe an hour, make a statement, and then reverse it. It could be a way of drumming up hype, cause let's be honest, this game will need all the help it can get to generate even a monicum of excitement, cause it's been pretty dry for the past few months. Now let's talk about the round pool. After 2 years, Hoop Shoot has finally been unvaulted. The level got vaulted at the start of SS4, aka Season 4 Cliff Construction, which is just wild to think about because that means the level was only playable in its debut season, that being Season 3 Saga Secrets. Although it was playable in the vault show that's found in customs, but still. The level was only in solos oddly enough, but on May 28th or a day later, it got added to squads and duos. I find Hoop Shoot to be incredibly boring and vastly prefer Speed Slider, but as I've said in previous videos, I'm happy whenever a Unity level gets unvaulted, even the ones that I dislike or find boring, because it's one of the last remnants of a bygone era. Both knockouts got a refresh. They added and removed 10 levels, so the map count is the same. I'm really glad they removed Dizzy Heights. It didn't get added on day 1 of the ranked knockout update, but a few days later. They had to remove some maps from knockout, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was a panic choice, but I hope it never gets added to ranked knockout or just knockout ever again. Removing Hexagon and Blast Ball was a good choice, since those maps are pretty RNG and you want to minimize the RNG aspect in ranked knockout. Adding Hexaring was a phenomenal choice. It has an element of skill required to win on it, plus it's a pretty great level in my opinion. But another great level they added was Hyperdrive Heroes, just amazing choice. I've played games of it where it's killed half the lobby, especially in the lower ranks. Sam Scraper, Roll Off, and Speed Circuit being removed is such a bummer, especially since they added Short Circuit. I feel like Speed Circuit is already so rare to get, like why not just keep it so more people can play it? Like no one is asking for Short Circuit and Mind the Gap, like are we serious? I'd rather watch Paint Dry than play that level. But can we please add 10 more levels to Knockout and Ranked Knockout? Like we have 30 levels in both knockouts and it's just like getting really repetitive because I'm just getting the same levels over and over again, and honestly just adding 10 more levels, heck even like 20 more levels to knockout, you know, your main mode, the mode that you want everyone to play. It'd just be great if you just add more levels to it because the round pool is just getting super repetitive and just boring to play, man. But overall, this refresh is pretty solid. I'll be honest, while the Japanese Sakura/cyber theming is cool and all, but I just don't really like the Fame Pass all that much. The ramen cup skins do fit the Fall Guys aesthetic really well though, but the Ninja Run emote is just awesome. I haven't really fallen in love with an emote in a while. The continuous flips just do it for me, man. However, it's extremely odd how tier 50 gives away crown shards, whereas in previous passes, it would give away a full skin. Tier 50 usually indicates the end of the normal pass, and everything beyond it is reserved for alternative costumes, or really alternative things in general. The wires crossed color and face paint really reminded me of Legacy Season 4's Fame Path, just very neon. I just haven't been a fan of these celebrations. Like, these situational or story-based celebrations just aren't doing it for me, man. This one is just too slow and is just more weird than funny. Also, putting it near the end of the pass when celebrations are usually in the middle part of the pass is certainly a choice. In this case, a pretty dumb choice. We should have gotten another celebration at the first half of the pass, something more old school as a way of balancing it out. There's one bug that's pretty huge, and is that Jumbotrons in classic Unity levels appear to be washed out, and this is in every map that has one. However, Skyline Stumble got the worst of it because the big Jumbotron at the end looks awful. Like, even the arrows aren't safe. I'm glad they didn't vault the level because of it, because I feel like Neotonic back in the day would have done that. That's really the only bug I've encountered during the first week. I did hear that PS4 players were encountering a ton of problems. If you play on the PS4 port, let me know what your experience was like. Don't be afraid of going into detail. I'm not someone who uses social media all that much, so I have no idea how bad the port is or was. The Yeetropolis background uses the Scrapper Stumble skybox as its template, and honestly, I really like it. There's a few things that are certain in life: death, taxes, and Neotonic adding stickers. Cityscape, graffiti, tech shape, tech corner, vertical sign, horizontal sign, and tech warning sign. They also added a few decorations such as the lucky cat, street light, Jumbotron, street cone, and street barrier. The lucky cat just makes me smile, man. Just the community naming it Chonkert is great. I love you, Chonkert. The Jumbotron is something I wanted to see get added ages ago, and it's finally here. Because I've seen some levels where people have actually made makeshift Jumbotrons. I'd be like, you know what? Maybe they should add the actual Jumbotron. I don't know why it took them so long, but hey, it's finally here. Let's hope they add more content or more ads to it with future updates. I feel like people who make city-based maps are really going to enjoy the inclusion of street lamps, cones, and barriers. New VFX got added, those being cherry blossoms, rain, and snow. And they're fine, I guess. Nice if you want to highlight a small area, but it would have been better if we had a skybox that adds rain to the entire level, or better yet, a cherry blossom skybox. I feel like we could still get a rain-based skybox. And they finally added the SS1 skybox, aka Blunder Dome, and it's in 3D, which took me by surprise. It's just incredible. I don't know why they stopped doing these 3D skyboxes, because they just look much better, vastly better than the 2D skyboxes. And the thing is the mobile port has 2D skyboxes for everything, so if it was like a port problem, or like the Switch port or just lower end hardware couldn't run these 3D skyboxes, why not make it to where those ports will always have 2D skyboxes and leave the rest of the ports with 3D skyboxes? Just such an odd change, man. Like, apologies for their side tangent there. And with that, the Ocean aka SS3 skybox is the last season to not have a skybox in creative mode. The rotation controller got a few changes, and so did linking. It's pretty cool how you can activate the rotation controller with buttons, trigger plates, and trigger zones. Can see people do some crazy stuff with that. Also, jumps and bumpers being linkable to rotation controllers is nice. Don't know why it took them so long to add that, but hey, better late than never, I suppose. Group start zones are a thing, and more options are better, I guess. These minor changes to creative mode are just pretty disappointing overall, and it's been like this for a while now. I hope it gets some new obstacles soon, because the last time we got one was in the 11.3 update, aka Halloween 2024, or over 7 months ago. I'd say the last substantial update to creative mode was in 11.2 or the Scrapper Stumble update. And don't get me wrong, I'm not expecting every single update to be a super substantial or super huge update to creative mode, but literally the last big update was like 7 or maybe even longer than 7 months ago. Like, we should have at least had 1 or 2 substantial updates in between that time. Futuresy here. While I was getting footage for the creative mode portion of the video, I realized they changed some of the keybinds or some of the controls for certain actions in creative mode. And I just have to ask a question, like, why? Like, genuinely, I am perplexed by I'm just so perplexed, but I'm not even gonna bother editing that part out because I'm just so confused on that. Now, there are people out there who probably have like hundreds, maybe even 1,000 or so hours in creative mode, you know, and just like by doing this, you basically mess up their muscle memory. And I'm sure by now people have probably already adapted to the whole control schemes, but it just feels really weird and just unnecessary. Maybe they're going to add some, you know, controllers or something that are going to like replace the old keybinds. I don't know why, but you know that meme in IT and development and stuff for like developers and programmers will, you know, just make changes for the sake of making changes? Yeah, this feels just like that. But regardless, there's one more thing I noticed I failed to mention was the toggle lighting option in like some stickers. I don't really understand what that does fully. When I toggled it, it's like it made the color brighter, a lot more visible, so I assume this is an option people are going to have on by default. I don't know what it does, but hey, I guess it's pretty cool, you know. So anyways, are you snacking on something? Are you eating something? Drinking something? Comment below, let me know, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I'll stop. Miotonic only made 3 levels this time around, and they definitely took the quality over quantity route. And while I wish they made at least 5, they did release one more in the middle of the update, but I won't be talking about that one as it got added after the first week. Rooftop Rush is such a fun map. I liked it so much I featured it in my wonderful map series. It feels like they thought of the intermediate player while making sure casuals can qualify. Usually Miotonic maps are simple since they need to accommodate to a wide range of players, most of them being casuals or the average Joe. I love how there's a ton of branching paths and how colors are used to guide the player and as a way to suction the map out, and to me the level just feels fleshed out. Cylinder Stumble is a simple dash to the finish line and it really invokes the vibe that you're in a city, and it might be the best showcase of the new decorations, although I do wish I got this map more often since it's fairly short and simple to traverse, which I like. Blunderbox is basically Block Party's cousin, while the Parkour Party variant, but regardless, this is such an intense level, just super high octane. I love it. Levels that get the adrenaline pumping is always a good time. I definitely prefer this over something like Dodge Dive Survive, which has a similar premise. Also, the level actually looks fairly decent. It's really well decorated. This level feels like something I would see them add in Legacy Season 1 or just something I would see in Wipeout. Overall, I really enjoyed playing all 3 levels. I've kept you waiting long enough. Let's talk about the rhino in the room. You can earn kudos by playing games again, which I legit never thought they would do. For reference, the last time you were able to earn kudos while playing a game was in Legacy Season 6, which ended over 3 years ago, or on June 21st, 2022. But for my limited time playing, it seems like you earn around 225 kudos if you win a 4-round game, 210 if you make it to round 5 but lose, 150 if you make it to round 4 and lose. You earn 30 kudos for every level you beat in Creator Spotlight and Explore. Let me say this first, I'm glad they allowed players to earn kudos again, I really am. But 225 for winning a game is just laughable, it really is. And that's if you win a game. While newer players will be able to buy wearables and simple cosmetics like nameplates, nicknames, stuff like that by just playing the game, the time to reward ratio just doesn't make sense, and it's done so players have to play more to earn a decent amount. This change would have been great when Miotonic were constantly adding kudos cosmetics, but now they add them every few months or so, and I'm sure newer gen players appreciate being able to earn something for the time. But as someone who came from an era where you could earn thousands of kudos without trying, this just feels like a spit in the face, and at the very least they should have increased it to 550 for winning a 4-round game and maybe 400 for making it to round 4. Still wouldn't be enough or close to Legacy days, but it's better than 225 or 150. Kudos isn't a currency you can buy and hasn't been for 3 years now, so them being stingy just makes no sense. Let players earn 1,000 kudos for winning a game. If anything, it would make your current player base happy, as they might be able to purchase that fancy costume that costs 18k kudos. In Ranked Knockout, if you're in Star or Superstar, you now get 10 points if you reach round 4, whereas previously you'd get 20, which is an okay change. I'm glad it was done because the final set of ranks should be a little tough to rank up on. They also disabled piggybacking in creative levels, so now you can't piggyback at all in Ranked Knockout. It was weird how you could do it in the first place since Ranked Knockout is supposed to be a showcase of your own skill, so honestly I'm glad it's disabled. Futures year, I can't believe I forgot to mention this, but the Snowfall skin, a skin that you can actually unlock by reaching Star and, well, Superstar. It's just really weird how they go about doing that, because it's not like you get the lower half for reaching Star and then the upper half you get reached by Superstar. That would make more sense, but no, you just get the full skin if you reach Star, which is just a really odd choice, but okay, whatever. The skin itself, I actually really like the upper half. I actually prefer it over the Supreme Idol, which you actually got for the first cycle. And I have a little theory. I think sweats or people who are really good at this game are going to start wearing the lower half of the Snowfall skin. Most sweats actually wear the lower half of the Dazzling Dance Orb skin, which is like this, which is these little light up sketches, these like little bright shoes. You've probably seen it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like most sweats are going to gravitate towards wearing the lower half of the Snowfall skin because it looks very similar to the Twit and Toot lure. Because I remember back in the day, sweats actually used to wear the lower half of the Twit and Twoo skin, so I could see that actually making a resurgence. Special thank you to our Max Store, aka $5 members, Jumper Runnin', Deckle, The Editor, Axel the Profi, T-Man, The Salt, TM, and Scrawny for your support as always.